join me, we are going to meet Bruce, the CEO of this e-fulfillment center. Hi, Bruce.
Hi, nice to see you.
Thanks for having us today. I'm very nice to meet you.
Yeah, welcome to Quiet. And this is our very first pick, which happened to be a guitar pick because we have a sense of humor. So.
Well, thank you so much for having us. Tell us a little about yourself and about the company.
Sure. Well, my name is Bruce Welty, and I'm the CEO of Quiet Logistics. And Quiet Logistics is a third-party fulfillment company, which means we take goods on consignment from our customers, and when they get an e-commerce order, they electronically forward it to us, and we pick, pack, and ship it.
Who are your customers?
Mostly premium apparel brands. They're mostly digitally native brands, so these are companies that didn't have a retail presence, didn't have a store presence, and they built their business around web-based e-commerce.
Can you kind of walk me through the life of an item?
Most of our clients send us their stuff straight from the manufacturer. So if you walked out in the warehouse today, you'd see boxes from Malaysia and Vietnam and Turkey. The movement of goods is U-shaped, so it comes in down there, goes in inventory, and then comes back out and goes out here. So the far doors are receiving and the near doors are shipping. We receive them on cases on a pallet. So we then open those boxes and we go through a process of determining whether or not they were accurately shipped and if they're of quality and in the right quantities and so on. It's got these sizes in it. Mm-hmm. This is box 14 of 14. So this is what we get. And then our job is to open up this box, take it out, and we'll say, is it in fact one of those sizes? And that process is called receiving. We have to find a PO, make sure that that the product was actually ordered by our client.
How many items are in this?
We have probably 2 million items in here. 2.5 million items.
Wow.
Probably 250,000 different SKUs. And then once the product has been through the receiving process, we put it into inventory. We call that put away. And then it basically sits there awaiting orders. And we actually individually store every product. So our warehouse looks like a big store on steroids. It's lots of shelves, lots of single units. Everything in there is pickable, meaning you could order any item we have and we could actually find it and put it in a bin for you. Once we receive the order and the customer says, hey, I want one of these, 2 of these, 3 of these, we'll then build the order and then we'll put it in a box and ship it off to you. We use robots here. We've built our business around the use of robots, and they perform very specified tasks for us. But what happens now is the robot effectively knows where it has to go to stop in front of every pick for every order that it's fulfilling. And people are sort of disengaged from the robots. They just sort of stay in the aisles, and when they see a robot looking for an item, they go over and the robot says, I want this item and this quantity in this bin, so the person will perform the pick. There's a lot of discussion around robots being able to actually do the picking part, the grasping of the item, and our view is that that's a challenging problem that we don't want to have to solve. That's the way the robots work, and they take away a lot of the drudgery of this job. It's very easy to use them. Training is very quick, and you don't walk as far, and your productivity doubles. So it's a very effective use of a technology.
So is the person who's doing the picking stationed in sort of one place and then the robots move to them?
It actually works a little bit differently. When we first envisioned it, we were going to have what we call zoned picking. So I would say to somebody, you are in charge of these 5 aisles, and you just stay in those 5 aisles all day long. And then robots come and go from those aisles. But what we found over time was that with our algorithms, we can actually get the robots to stay close to each other. So the robots tend to cluster together. We put workers in those clusters. And then over time, those clusters break and form new clusters. Then the workers break into smaller groups and they travel. And these clusters kind of blossom and grow and shrink as the work changes. And if people and the robots follow the same pattern through the warehouse, the same walking pattern, it sort of works out that every robot and every person is always very busy. We patented a bunch of things around this. It's a really cool algorithm, and it works beautifully. You know, we always think in terms of nature. There's a bunch of things that work like this, like schooling fish and starlings, called murmuration of starlings. And those all have very simple algorithms, and it says, your job is to keep exactly this distance away from your neighbor. So we built this around some of those concepts. Like, in fact, we originally called the robot company Locust. Ultimately, we dropped the T and call it Locust. Originally, in our minds, it was like locusts, because the robots actually invade the field like a swarm of locusts, and they land on the closest pick, and somebody comes along and essentially does the pick, and then the robot moves to the next closest pick, and then by the time they get to the end, all the picks are done. It's exactly the way locusts invade a field.
And so the robots are not only sort of mobile bins, but they're also sort of directing and optimizing workflow on the floor. Is that the right understanding?
Yeah, exactly. They're not just navigating bins around. They're directing workflow, and they're directing workers. We have only just started this process of optimization. I think we could be continuing to optimize this thing for decades, and it will just get smarter and smarter. And there's just so many ways, so many different opportunities for optimizing the work.
Does demand change over time in this kind of business? Is Cyber Monday something that changes things on the work floor, or is it pretty steady?
Is there a lot of variability in our workload? Yes, there is. It actually varies by time of day of week, by month. We have big cycles around seasonal peaks, around things like back to school and Cyber Week.
Day to day, what are the things that can come up or the problems that need to be solved?
Well, every day brings a new set of issues. A lot of them are driven by weather and what might be happening in the news. I remember one day Princess Kate wore a blue dress from one of our customers, and within a few minutes that blue dress was sold out across every store and every warehouse. We can't anticipate those kinds of things. We try our best, but there's quite a lot of what I would call external events that just occur, especially in e-commerce, because it's a global phenomenon. So we have a lot of products here, many, many millions of units of inventory that are available for orders, e-commerce orders.
With that kind of layout, when the products come in, do you have to think about slotting or where to put them? Is that part of the decision making?
You know, it used to be. It used to be a big part of what we did, slotting and reslotting, was just try to bring the products that have high velocity closer to the sort of cashier, and the slower ones would be in the back. But what's happened now with the robots is we've actually found a way around that by having the robots do intelligent moving around the business. So what we try to do is organize our picks so that they're all clustered together, and then our workers and the robots cluster around those picks. So we've kind of eliminated this slotting problem.
And then is there an interface that when you're managing the facility you see, is there summary statistics for the day, performance of the robot, performance of the workers that come from that system?
Yeah, but it's not at the end of the day, it's in real time. And we monitor it very diligently. We have a lot of eyes on this. The screens, the productivity screens are available on every device. So I have it on my phone. I used to have it on my dashboard on my car. Everybody has the ability to see these dashboards, and we put them up out in the warehouse so that everybody can understand how the whole system is performing. We can also see down to the individual. We also track individual performance against the mean and against each other to rank people according to who's achieving the highest rate, the next highest rate, and so on. There's a lot going on out there.
Thank you so much for letting us into the facility to see how it works and for sharing your insights with us. It's going to mean a lot to our learners, I know it.
Great, well, enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you.